The world has been warned. Leaders are raising their voices. Among them, one of the most striking was the current President of the United States, Donald Trump. In one of his most recent speeches, he clearly said, "If we continue down this path, it will be the end."
Ezekiel chapter 38 lists the nations that will attack Israel in the last days: Russia, Turkey, Libya, and one more, Persia. Most people read right past that name, but Persia still exists. We just call it something else now, Iran. And right now, at this exact moment, Iran is experiencing something that matches the biblical pattern Jesus described before the end times. The economy is collapsing. The people are revolting. The most powerful nation on earth just threatened military action. And if you understand what birth pangs really mean, you'll realize we might be watching prophecy position itself in real time. It started in the Grand Bazaar of Tehran. Shop owners closed their stalls and walked into the streets. Not just a few, thousands, then tens of thousands. Within days, protests erupted in 27 different cities across Iran. Isfahan, Shiraz, Mashhad. The entire nation was fracturing. Why? Iran's currency lost nearly 40% of its value. Basic goods became unaffordable. Inflation made survival impossible for ordinary people. This wasn't just economic struggle, this was economic collapse. But then something happened that changed everything. Students joined the protests, truck drivers, bus operators, factory workers. This wasn't one group with one complaint. This was a nation coming apart from the inside. And while most of America slept, President Trump was awake. Just before 3 a.m., he posted a warning that echoed around the world. If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Locked and loaded. This wasn't diplomatic language. This wasn't carefully worded policy reviewed by committees. This was a direct military threat from the most powerful nation on earth to one of the most volatile regimes on the planet. Iran didn't back down. Iran's Secretary of the National Security Council fired back immediately. Trump should know that American interference in this internal issue is equivalent to chaos across the entire region and the destruction of American interests. Two nations, both issuing threats, both drawing red lines, both daring the other side to cross them. This isn't war, not yet. There are no armies crossing borders, no missiles flying between capitals, no formal declarations, but it's also not peace. It's exactly the kind of tension Jesus described: wars and rumors of wars, internal collapse and external threats, everything pressurizing at once. But here's what makes this moment different from every other Middle East crisis you've ever seen. Most people don't realize this. Iran isn't just a modern nation with modern conflicts. Iran has a biblical identity that reaches back thousands of years. The nation we call Iran today was known in Scripture as Persia, and Persia appears by name in one of the most significant end times prophecies in the entire Bible. Ezekiel 38 verse 5 lists the nations that will come against Israel in the last days, and right there, explicitly named, is Persia. Not symbolically, not coded, the actual name, Persia. Now I need to be very clear here. I am not saying that what's happening right now is the fulfillment of Ezekiel 38. The Ezekiel 38 invasion hasn't happened yet. The conditions aren't fully in place. We're not there. But here's what I am saying. Prophecy doesn't start with invasion. Prophecy starts with positioning. Think about what has to happen before Ezekiel 38 can be fulfilled. Nations have to align. Alliances have to form. Iran has to be in a position, militarily, politically, ideologically, where joining a coalition against Israel makes sense. And look at where Iran is right now. Their economy is collapsing. Their people are in the streets. Their regime is under pressure both internally and externally. They've already been involved in direct conflict with Israel through proxy forces. Hamas, Hezbollah,
Syrian militias, Iranian weapons, Iranian funding, Iranian strategy. This is what I call trajectory alignment. Iran isn't fulfilling Ezekiel 38 today, but Iran is moving along the trajectory that leads to Ezekiel 38. Every end-time scenario involving the Middle East includes Iran. Every serious prophetic analysis puts Persia in the coalition. This isn't a minor player. This is a central actor in the biblical end-times narrative, which means when Iran destabilizes, when Iran threatens, when Iran moves toward confrontation, we should pay attention, not because we can predict exactly what will happen, but because we can see the pattern forming. But here's what most people miss about how prophecy actually works. And once you understand this, everything happening right now starts to make sense.
In Matthew 24, the disciples come to Jesus privately. They want to know what will be the sign of his coming and of the end of the age. And Jesus gives them an answer that has echoed through 2,000 years of human history. Matthew 24, verses 6 to 8. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of sorrows. In the original Greek, that phrase is Odin. It means birth pangs, labor pains, the contractions a woman experiences before delivery. But here's what makes this metaphor so powerful. Birth pangs don't announce the baby. Birth pangs announce that the process has started. Think about what Jesus is describing. Not sudden destruction, not immediate apocalypse, a process, a buildup. Contractions that start slow, spaced far apart, almost manageable. But then they get faster, stronger, closer together, until finally they become unavoidable. This is the framework Jesus gave us for understanding the end times. Now here's the crucial part. Jesus didn't say ignore the signs. He said don't be troubled by them. There's a massive difference. He still described the signs. He still told us what to watch for. He still gave us a framework to understand the times. He wanted us to see what was happening and recognize it for what it was. But he wanted us to see it with discernment, not fear, with understanding, not panic, with spiritual clarity, not emotional chaos. The world reacts emotionally. Something scary happens and people panic, or they deny it's happening. Or they become obsessed, refreshing news feeds every 5 minutes, drowning in anxiety. But believers are called to something different. We're called to interpret, to discern, to watch with understanding. Wars and rumors of wars. That's what Jesus said we would see. Not actual war yet, the rumor phase, the threat phase, the phase where everyone can feel that something is coming, but nothing has fully erupted yet. And that's exactly what we're watching right now with Iran. But here's the question that should be burning in your mind. We've seen Iran protests before. We've seen Middle East tensions before. So what makes this time different? Iran has had protests before. The Green Movement in 2009, economic protests in 2019. People flooded the streets demanding change, and the regime cracked down violently. Eventually, things returned to a kind of terrible normal. Middle East wars have happened before. Gulf wars, proxy conflicts, Israeli operations, tensions that flared and then subsided. American presidents have issued warnings before, red lines that were drawn and sometimes enforced, sometimes ignored. So what makes right now different? Here's what I want you to see. The contractions aren't new. The spacing is what's changed. In the past, these events happened one at a time. Iran would have a crisis, then things would calm down. Then Israel would face a threat, then things would stabilize. Then the global economy would shake, then it would recover. Spaced out, manageable, one contraction at a time.
But look at what's happening right now. Iran is collapsing internally, at the same time that Israel just concluded operations against Iranian forces. The United States is issuing direct military threats, at the same time that Iran is threatening regional chaos. Global economic fragility is at historic levels, at the same time that oil markets hang in the balance based on what happens next. Russia is aligned with Iran. China is watching for opportunity. Regional powers are choosing sides. Everything is happening simultaneously. This is what birth pangs look like when they accelerate. Not one contraction every hour. Contractions coming closer and closer together until the space between them nearly disappears. When everything stacks at once, when every pressure point activates simultaneously, that's not random coincidence. That's the pattern Jesus described. And here's the sobering reality. Birth pangs don't reverse. Once labor begins, it doesn't stop. It only intensifies until delivery. Which means if we're in an acceleration phase, if the spacing between contractions is genuinely shrinking, then we're not going back to normal. We're going forward into whatever comes next. But there's something happening beneath the surface that makes Iran's position even more dangerous than it appears.
Iran isn't alone. That's what makes this so significant prophetically. Look at Iran's alliances right now. Russia, Syria, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, militias across Iraq, the Houthi rebels in Yemen. This isn't random. This is a coalition, an alliance structure that stretches from Tehran to the Mediterranean Sea, from the Persian Gulf to the borders of Israel. And here's what should get your attention. This coalition structure looks remarkably similar to what Ezekiel 38 describes. Russia? Check. Iran? Check. Regional allies positioned around Israel? Check. Now again, I'm not saying this is the fulfillment, but I am saying this is trajectory alignment. Before Ezekiel 38 can happen, certain things have to be in place. Iran has to have reason to hate Israel. Iran has to be willing to join a military coalition against Israel. Iran has to be positioned geographically and militarily to participate in such an invasion. 30 years ago, none of that was true. Iran under the Shah had diplomatic relations with Israel. They weren't enemies. They weren't positioned for conflict. But look at Iran today. Iran funds Hezbollah with hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Iran provides weapons, training, and strategy to groups committed to Israel's destruction. Iran's leaders openly call for Israel to be wiped off the map. Iran has launched direct attacks against Israeli territory. This is positioning. This is alignment. This is trajectory. And it's not just military, it's ideological. Iran's regime is built on a specific version of Islamic theology that sees Israel as an enemy that must be removed, that sees the return of the Mahdi, their messianic figure, as connected to regional conflict, that views confrontation with Israel as religiously mandated. This isn't just politics, this is theology driving geopolitics. When you combine economic collapse, internal revolt, external military threats, ideological commitment, and existing alliance structures, you get a recipe for exactly the kind of desperate, aggressive action that could pull the region into wider conflict. A weak regime is a dangerous regime. When leaders feel their power slipping, they don't become reasonable, they become desperate. They lash out. They take risks they would never take from a position of strength. Iran's leadership is cornered, and cornered regimes act unpredictably. But there's something else happening that connects directly to what Jesus said about the end times. Jesus said, "Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom." But he also described something else: internal instability, famines, pestilences, economic devastation, society breaking down from the inside. That's exactly what's happening in Iran right now. The currency collapse isn't just numbers on a screen. It means families can't afford food. It means savings are worthless. It means the middle class is being destroyed. When a currency loses 40% of its value, people lose everything. The protests in 27 cities aren't just political demonstrations, they're survival revolts. People are in the streets because they have nothing left to lose. And this creates a dynamic that's incredibly dangerous. When a regime faces internal collapse, it looks for external enemies. It needs someone to blame. It needs a way to unite the population against a common threat. It needs a distraction. For Iran, Israel is the perfect enemy. America is the perfect villain. So here's what we're watching. A regime that's collapsing internally, facing threats externally, desperate to maintain power, ideologically committed to confrontation with Israel, already positioned in a coalition structure, already engaged in proxy warfare. And now President Trump has drawn a red line. We are locked and loaded. This isn't empty rhetoric. Trump has already demonstrated he will use military force against Iran. In 2020, he ordered the strike that killed Qasem Soleimani, Iran's most powerful military commander. Iran knows Trump is willing to act. So Iran faces a choice: back down and look weak to their own people, or escalate and risk direct confrontation with the United States. Neither option is good. Both options are dangerous. This is what Jesus meant by rumors of wars, the tension before the explosion, the pressure building without release, the moment where everyone knows something is coming, but nobody knows exactly when or how. And here's what Jesus told us to do when we see these signs. But his instructions might surprise you, because they're not what most people expect. Go back to Matthew 24, verse 6. Jesus said, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled." See that ye be not troubled. That's the instruction. Not panic, not fear, not anxiety, not obsession with every news update. Jesus didn't tell us to ignore the signs. He told us to watch them with discernment, to recognize them, to understand what they mean, but not to be consumed by fear. There's a massive difference between awareness and panic, between preparation and paranoia, between watching and worrying. The world reacts with fear. Markets crash when tensions rise, people stockpile supplies, conspiracy theories spread, everyone becomes convinced the end is happening tomorrow. But Jesus said, don't be troubled. Why? Because all these things must come to pass. They're part of the pattern, they're birth pangs, they're the process that leads to the end, not the end itself. This is why understanding the birth pang pattern is so important. If you know contractions are part of labor, you don't panic when they start. You recognize them, you prepare, you know what's coming. Jesus wanted us to have that same clarity about the end times. Watch, understand, recognize the signs, but don't let fear control you. Pray, stay grounded in Scripture, keep your eyes on eternal things, not just earthly chaos. Endure, because the one who endures to the end will be saved. This is the posture Jesus called us to: alert but not anxious, informed but not overwhelmed, watchful but not paralyzed. Because if we're right about where we are in this pattern, if the birth pangs are accelerating, if the spacing between contractions is shrinking, then what comes next is unavoidable. The pressure will keep building, the instability will keep intensifying, the trajectory will keep moving forward. And there's one word in Jesus' prophecy that most people overlook. It changes everything about how urgent this moment really is. Jesus said, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Beginning, not the middle, not the end, the beginning. If what we're watching right now is the beginning, what does the middle look like? What does the end look like? Jesus used the word beginning for a reason, to tell us the process is long, to tell us the intensity will increase, to tell us we need endurance, not just awareness. The contractions are getting closer, the pressure is building, the nations are positioning, Iran is moving along its trajectory, the pattern is forming. And once labor begins, it doesn't stop until delivery. The question isn't if, The question is how much longer until?